You run out of things to say. You want to carry the conversation on, but nothing comes to mind. You want to talk about funny moments, you want to talk about exciting times, and you want to tell some travel stories. But when you try to think of them, you have none. You see, sometimes you meet individuals that have so much to say. They have so many stories to tell, and they just have this main character aura. Well, the thing is, you can have that too. The only thing that you have to do is build your vault. 5 months ago, I started building a vault. I was reading this book called Storyworthy, and the one takeaway I got from that book was you need to document one story-worthy moment every single day for the rest of your life. If you don't document that one moment, you will not be able to tell it in a story because you will forget about that moment. So in April or March, I started documenting every day, all right, what was the most story-worthy moment today? What was the biggest main character moment that I could talk about? And it didn't have to be anything big. It could be literally in the bathroom, I cut myself whilst I was shaving. Or it could be biking to the tram station and Reese hits the door and falls off his bike and scruffs up his leg. It could be going into the sea and swallowing some water and choking for 5 minutes. It could be something so small because the best stories aren't about massive things. It's things that people can relate to. And it was strange because after I started documenting a story-worthy moment every single day, I had more stories in my head in the last 3 months than I did in my last 10 years of living. I thought I had no stories to tell, but if I look back on my life, I had quite an interesting life. In 2017, I quit school. I then moved to Thailand. I started training full-time as an MMA fighter. I lived on the gym floor. I used mats as blankets to sleep. I then got sponsored at Tiger. I moved to America for 6 months. I came back, I moved to Leeds, I moved to Manchester. I cornered in the UFC, Bellator, won championship. I'd gone through a lot of things that I could tell. But when it came to telling these stories, I didn't have them to tell. And that was because I didn't build a story vault then. I didn't document the stories. So after realizing how much effect this last 3 months of my life has had on my ability to tell stories, I decided to make a story vault. A big story vault from 2016, from when I started fighting, to 2025. This 9-year period, I documented the whole thing. So I had 2016, 2025, and I had January, February, March, April, and so forth. And what you want to do is create a spreadsheet like that. And you're gonna go into there and list key events that happened in your life. For example, for me, it was, all right, quitting school. Actually, I'm gonna get it up. Let's screen record. Let's screen record. That is my notes for the video, but here is my story vault. So I just started putting key events. For example, in 2016, I had a house party that planned to be 9 people, but it ended up being 70 people. My house got trashed. It cost me $2,000 to pay my parents back, but it was known as the best house party in all of secondary school. Then a big moment when I got knocked out for the first time, 2017, the only time I've been knocked out, but I got knocked out in training. When I left Tesco and I went to Thailand, so we have February 2019. When I went to America, we have, is it June? Yeah, flew to SD, San Diego. When I won the European title on 14 days notice or 10 days notice, we have 2020 March, just before COVID. So I started listing key events that happened to me in my life. And it was from listing these key moments, I could start to put these other sub-moments, things that I didn't really remember. But from using these key moments, I'm like, all right, I went to Thailand. A sub-moment that happened to me was Songkran. In April, it is Thai New Year. You go round with water pistols and you squirt everyone. Everyone's on peds, everyone's got a water pistol, and you're just chucking water everywhere. It's like a big festival. But I knew I had more stories in me. I knew I had done such exciting things, but it just wasn't in the vault. So what I did is get my phone. And In this day and age, you are probably addicted to your phone, and because of that, you will have a lot of photos in your phone. So I'm just going to show you an example. I'm going to scroll. I'm going to scroll on my phone. Click. That is New York, the 30th of May 2018. That is the picture that I got. So if we go to May 2018, I've got there Met Gordon Ryan. That picture, I was with my sister. My sister was working for a company, being a nanny and a receptionist. She met them in the Hamptons and they paid for her visa to be able to stay in New York. We went over, we were staying in her 2-bed apartment with her and her friend. It cost 2.5 grand English per month and it was like a little box. And I was there for 10 days and we went all around New York. So you see, from that photo on my phone, that one photo sparked so many memories. So now when I go into my spreadsheet, I could then go, went to visit my sister in New York City. Sweet, done. And you can just go through your phone from top to bottom in the photos and go through all these story-worthy moments. And not everyone will be a great story to tell, but does it have the potential to be told as a great story? Because after you've done this full vault, you can then start picking out potential killer stories that you always like to tell if you're a public speaker. If you're doing this just for conversations, you don't need to do that. You can just have these stories in the back of your mind. And when you start doing this exercise, not only will you document your stories on a daily basis, not only will you document the stories from the past, building that story vault, but you also will be walking down the street or getting a shower or biking to the gym and a thought just pops into your head out of nowhere. You're thinking, how could I have forgot that story? How could I have forgotten that moment? Literally yesterday, I'm biking to the gym and I remember a story about 2018. 2018, I'm having my first professional Thai fight. It's at Bangla Stadium in Thailand. I'm walking out. I see the dude on the other side. He's an experienced dude. He's had about 70 fights. He's built like a brick shithouse. I'm there stood like a cocktail stick. And I'm shaking. I'm nervous. My arse is sweating. My hands are sweating. I just want to get in there and get the first 10, 20 seconds over so I can start throwing and the nerves settle down. And just before I step into the ring, my coach, he comes to me, he taps me and he goes, Staff, you lose this fight, I'm no longer your trainer. Good luck, Staff. Make sure no lose, because you not see this face again. And I thought, well, thanks for making me feel better, mate. Fucking hell. And literally, that story came yesterday as I was biking to the gym. And that was in July 2018. If I look into my vault, sweet, I've got it there. Fight at Bangla Stadium, round 2 TKO. I've got that part of the story, but I forgot about the part where Naib goes, oh, if you lose, I'm no longer your trainer. Like, that's quite a funny moment. That could be a story in itself about something completely different. And that was only possible because I made this vault. I started creating the vaults, but you don't lock it. You keep it unlocked. So you can go in, you can grab and pull it in whenever you need. Whenever you need a story, boom, I can pull it. I need a story about going to the gym, boom, I can pull it. I need a story how I overcame adversity, boom, I pull it. I need a story how I was heartbroken, boom, I can pull it. If you leave this unlocked, it gives you an opportunity to have so much more things to say in your conversations or so much more to add into your speeches because you can retrieve these memories and stories whenever you want. Now I walk the street. If something happens to me that isn't very nice, I can go, whew, that'll be a good story. Or I'm walking past and something's really exciting, I go, that'll be a great story. Or something really embarrassing, great story. And it's when you can start thinking like this. When you get to conversations, these ideas will just come. You'll be able to retrieve them in a matter of seconds. And if you want some other tools to make sure you never run out of things to say, check out the link below. In the link below, I will give you 10 tools and send you them over 10 days to improve your communication skills. All I ask for is your email. Put the email in below and I will ping that over. And also YouTube is very smart. So if you like this video, you will probably like this video as well.